Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. Even though it's still many months away, in a way, Evo season has now begun. We now know the main games that will be headlining Evo for 2022. And yes, just in case you are wondering, Evo is a physical event again this year. It will be running from August 5th to the 7th, and that'll be at the Mandalay Bay Casino in Las Vegas. Nothing been said for online Evo this year, so I don't know if they're continuing on with that, but at the very least, yes, Evo is a proper physical event again. And of course, Evo has to have its games, so what are the games this year? What are the main event games of Evo 2022? Well, first off, to exactly nobody's surprise, Street Fighter V will indeed be there, followed by Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, Melty Blood, Type Lumina, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Skullgirls. So a couple of those names I'm sure are no way surprising to you, because of course they'd be there. Street Fighter, Tekken, all that kind of stuff, but some of them I bet are a little surprising, so let's just quickly talk about all the games as a whole for a moment. So Street Fighter, there's only so many times I could say it's not surprising, but it holds true, right? But the one thing to note here about Street Fighter V specifically, as this being 2022, this may very well be the last year you will see Street Fighter V at Evo. Come, later in the summer in 2023, it is incredibly likely that Street Fighter VI will already be out. And just like Street Fighter V did to Street Fighter IV, whenever Street Fighter VI comes out, expect it to supplant the previous game in very quick order. So Street Fighter V, a very long ride to be sure, and definitely a few ups and downs, but I think it's very safe to say, even if you're a jaded person who was hurt by Street Fighter V early on, like I was, Street Fighter V's in a good place now. So looking forward to seeing how this can go, and this will very likely be the last hurrah for Street Fighter V at Evo. Now, same boat, slightly differently, Tekken 7. Of course, Tekken 7 is here at Evo, and Tekken 7 will probably be around at next year's Evo as well. Obviously, Tekken 8 is going to happen. Everyone knows it, right? But I don't feel it's around the corner in such a way like Street Fighter 6 is. Maybe it gets announced at Evo. Hey, who knows? And we'll talk more about announcements in a moment here. But Tekken 7 is here, and it's here to stay for the time being. Mortal Kombat 11 is around. Usually at this point of the old NRS cycle, we're on the new game already, and then the new game would be the thing we're playing, but the old cycle, for one reason or another, is not what's happening anymore. So Mortal Kombat 11 is here. Although I think it's a very safe bet, do not expect Mortal Kombat 11 next year. Whatever is next, more than likely Mortal Kombat 12 will be there instead. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is also there, and that's a little bit surprising. It's not the first time Grand Blue's been at Evo. Definitely wasn't there at the online Evo, though, last year, because Grand Blue's online play is maybe not up to snuff. It's very fair to say Grand Blue was the first victim, FGC-wise anyways, of the pandemic, as we were all now forced to play online, and Grand Blue very clearly showed us that online, the old delay-based stuff, is no longer acceptable. If you want to be glib about it, in a lot of ways, I guess you could say Grand Blue sort of died to save online play for fighting games. Because now we are finally in the rollback future that so many of us waited so many years to happen. But even though maybe Grand Blue Online didn't work, the game was trucking along the whole time. There's still DLC characters coming out, all that kind of stuff. The game has been receiving updates. I can't say I've been keeping up with modern Grand Blue, so I'm actually very excited to see where the game is now at in its current state. Grand Blue, you've definitely had a rough patch, to say the least, but now you're back on the big stage, so let's see how it goes. And speaking of the big stage, let's talk Melty Blood. Melty Blood is one of the main games at Evo. The last time Melty Blood was a proper Evo game was over a decade ago. And Melty Blood Type Lumina, even though obviously it's not a titanically big franchise, it's not Street Fighter, it's not Mortal Kombat, I feel like it's been very well received. Like, this game accidentally got me into the Tsukihime lore. I never read any of that stuff before I played this game, and now I read all of it. Like, without this game, I had no idea who Neko Arc was, really. before this game, and now I know everything about Neko Arc. I don't know if that's actually a good thing or not. It could actually be a bad thing overall in the end. But either way, it's because of Melty Blood type Lumina. So I'm happy now this game's going to get the biggest stage it's ever going to get, realistically. So hopefully the game can show well and get a lot of people interested into the franchise. Dragon Ball FighterZ also making it in for another year. Not too much more to say other than expect a lot of Lab Coat Android 21. Like, a lot. Guilty Gear Strive also making an appearance, and naturally, very safe to assume it would. Now, it was part of the online Evo last year, and basically the main event. I think it's very fair to say it was the main event of the online Evo last year. And now it's got a proper showing here, and it might be the main event of Evo. In terms of attendance, anyways. Now, Street Fighter obviously is the game that goes on last, because that's how that always works. And honestly, I'm an old timer. That's how I want it to be anyways. But I feel like Guilty Gear Strive might get the biggest overall attendance. Especially because there's no Smash this year, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Past that, our last two games are the King of Fighters 15 and Skullgirls. So Skullgirls, definitely a contentious issue at Evo over the many years. Very famously when they had the fan vote and Melee, Smash Melee, got voted in over Skullgirls, and Skullgirls effectively never showed up in an official capacity anyways, until last year. And now this year, being a physical event, instead of the online Evo of last year, Skullgirls is finally there properly. And King of Fighters 15, it's been a while since King of Fighters has been at Evo, and if you're anything like me, you're a real big fan of the game, and I'm just very happy to see it there. I think this is going to be one of the best games to watch at Evo, and I'm very excited. So now, those are all the official games, and in case you never saw the news, where's Smash? How come Smash is not at Evo? Well, it's because Nintendo says Smash can't be at Evo. Before the reveal event, the official Evo Twitter put out this, and effectively, Nintendo is blocking Smash from showing up at Evo. There's no reasoning really given here, and it's not like Nintendo's ever given their reasoning for the many anti-esports and anti-tournament things they've pulled in the past. It's always been kind of clear to me Nintendo doesn't actually care for a lot of the grassroots tournament stuff that their community pulls off, and I just honestly consider it a scummy move. But regardless of whatever their reasoning is, there's no Smash at Evo this year, and maybe no Smash at Evo ever again. Now, beside all the game stuff, we got to talk about perhaps the real reason Evo exists. It's not so much the fighting game tournaments as much as we like to think it is, but it's about the marketing. While nothing's confirmed yet, and nor will it be for many months to come, I'm sure, expect a lot of big reveals at Evo. And what could some of those be? Well, for one, Street Fighter 6 said it would make its proper news announcements about, what the game is and all that kind of stuff later in the summer this year, and wouldn't you know it, Evo happens to be later in the summer. So Street Fighter 6 expect its proper debut more than likely at Evo this year. Project L, the League of Legends fighting game, well, they said there'll be finally some proper news on that as well after the news dump we got last year, sometime in the second half of this year in 2022, and wouldn't you know it, turns out Evo is in the second half of 2022. Also, during this reveal event, they weren't exactly shy at showing off the Cannon brothers behind the scenes here, who, on top of being Evo co-founders, although PlayStation Sony now owns Evo, are also the heads of the Project L game over at Riot Studios. So I think it's a safe bet you can expect something Project L related at Evo. Other big stuff like Tekken 8 could very well be the case, although then again, maybe not. I feel like Tekken 8 is further along in the future than some of the other bigger games like Street Fighter 6 and Project L. DLC characters though, oh you better believe it. King of Fighters 15, that's probably when we'll find out what our teams 3 and 4 are for the Year 1 Season Pass. Also, something like Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive, the last character of Season 1, will be out by then, sure, but of course and naturally and obviously enough, we're going to have a Season 2 and probably a Season 3 and a Season 4 and all that kind of stuff. So further DLC characters in the lifespan of Guilty Gear Strive, expect something like that to be revealed at Evo. And hey, Mortal Kombat 12, well, we all know what's really coming, right? It's in the bag, it's coming. And the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat as a franchise is this year, so we gotta announce it somewhere, right? So either they're going to be working with Jeff Keighley again at the Game Awards or one of the other Keighley-centric events, or maybe finally Mortal Kombat can make a big debut at Evo. We'll see. Maybe that Killer Instinct we know that's in the works right now, that could also make an appeal here at Evo. The thing is, unless you can get a big stage at like an E3 or Game Awards or something, Evo is the best place if you're a fighting game to showcase your stuff. So expect anything and everything as far as this fighting game related to make its debut at Evo. So that's about the news for now. There will be a lot more news at Evo later in the future in terms of events and all that kind of stuff, and obviously enough the reveals. And one thing to note here is that if you want to register for Evo, registrations are live right now. Go to evo.gg and the registration link is right there in the front page. The world is slowly healing, and so is the FGC, although in a weird way, I guess the pandemic was also good for the FGC because we would not have gotten rollback netcode as a standard without this crazy thing, right? So there is good with the bad, I suppose. But that's all the news for now, and when there's more, you can definitely check the channel because I'll be covering it, my friends. Until that time, though, we're now at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.